Hello everyone. Um, I'm making this video for your examination purpose, and this video is for XML. As the slide displays, XML is extensible markup language, and this is the document which I have placed in my blog. Okay, and this is from internet, so this is good. The basic information is provided in this document. That's why first you better go through this document. Okay, this is outline about the contents of this document, and they're telling about XML and HTML. I think about HTML it is not required, but we should know about XML. So the second and third points we have to see, we have to read in this slide. XML is extensible markup language, and you can create your own tag. That is the main concept here, and it is used to describe the data. So just like HTML tags, there will be XML tags. Means what? In HTML we see the tag name, attribute, and attribute value. Not only one attribute, there will be n number of attributes. There can be n number of attributes. There will be an opening tag as well as closing tag. In HTML, all are predefined, but in XML, it is user defined. You can define a tag. You can use the tag in order to describe a data. So that is the main fundamental concepts about XML. And second and third point you have to remember in this slide. Of course, there will be a structure for the information that can be represented by using XML. So suppose the hierarchy can be maintained. Okay, by going through examples, we can understand what is this. Okay, and of course, a tree structure is used here. Tree in the sense it will be in the hierarchy. For suppose first the root node, then child node for root node. The child node for root node can also have child node. So the child node for root node will become parent node. Will be parent node for its children. Like that, it goes on. It goes on. Okay. If we see example, we can understand that concept. If possible, 1 second. I will. Okay. So for suppose this is a root node. For the child nodes, so there can be a number of child nodes. This is one child node, and this is another child node. Okay, so how many child nodes you want? Those many child nodes you can take, and for that node, for suppose this node, say for suppose node A can have children. Okay, and every node can have children like this. It depends upon the structure of the data. Okay, so this is a tree structure. This is a tree structure. Okay, generally we study this tree structure in data structures. Okay, so that is the main concept. If you talk about structure of an XML document, they maintain tree structure. Next. Okay, the top one is XML. We know that it is unordered list, and each item will be obtained by using li. These are all predefined. Li, ul, all are predefined. But when we look at XML, book is user defined, and you take whatever attributes you want, those attributes. For suppose they have taken type is equals to technical. For suppose category, and for book node there are children. Title 1, other 2, publisher 3, year 4, and ISBN 5, 5 children. Okay. So this talks about, otherwise this gives information about one book. Like that, you can maintain a number of books, and all those books, all those book notes can be placed under one more tag. We can call that one as root node. Okay, so we will see all those things, and this is about why XML. I think the important points are explained, so you can skip this. Okay, and they're telling this is also not that much important. No need to go through this. Okay, this is one sample XML document. Every XML document, whenever you are writing XML document in examination, they will ask you to create, for suppose there is a chance to ask you to write one, create one, or develop one XML document. Whenever you are writing XML document, first you have to write this one. Okay, so we will see that what is this node and why we are writing that one later. Okay, we have to write less than question mark XML space version is equals to 1.0 in double quotes. Afterwards, again question mark and greater than. Every XML file should consist this one as a first tag, otherwise first node. Okay, otherwise some processing element, we call that one as processing. Then here in this example, bibliography is the root node. Of course, here there is only one book, but you can maintain n number of books under bibliography. Bibliography is the root node. In that child node is book. In that book, for that book child node, children are title, author, publisher, year, and ISBN. When you look at author, for author there are again children, first name of the author as well as last name of the author. Okay, and there are no more children or child for first name and last name. Okay, so they are following the structure, and see here by writing the data in the middle of these tags, I can understand web programming is a title of a book. Web programming is a title of a book. Okay, under the category technical. And there are 601 pages in that. For suppose if you write simply 601 technical web programming, simply that data, you may not understand what they are actually. But when you write in an XML document like this, we can understand what is that data. Okay, under which category that particular data belongs to. Like that, we can use our XML document in order to describe the data. This is one example. You can do a lot of things like this in real time. And then when you look at that example, for suppose you cannot execute XML document like our Java program or HTML program or any other programs. We cannot execute this. This is only to describe the data. This will be used by the program. This will be used by the program in order to get the data. Okay, and when you try to view the document in a web browser, this is Internet Explorer in this example. Okay, when you view in a web browser, it will show like this. That's it. In the modern web browsers, they might change some look and feel, but it will not be executed. The main point here is it will not be executed. Okay, and another point is .xml is the extension. Okay, and the first line is compulsory for every program. That is what processing element or processing instruction. For suppose the version of the XML is specified over here. And bibliography, what is bibliography? This is root node. Okay, it is composed of one or more book nodes, otherwise book elements. Okay, and for suppose for book element there are children like this: title, author, publisher, year, and ISBN. And for other again children. So this is the explanation about the document. So for suppose whenever they ask about XML, you can take one small example like this and you can explain about the document. It is sufficient according to the question. If they ask, if the question is like what is XML and explain the features of XML by using one example program, means you can write this one. Okay, and this is out of our syllabus, not required. This is also not required. So actually the concepts related to XML starts here. The first one is case sensitive. That's nothing but uppercase and lowercase, both are different. And XML document should be well formed. There will be some rules. These are the rules. We have to follow those rules. Then only we can call that one, that document is a well formed document. Otherwise, we write and we create an XML document, but if it is not well formed, then we cannot use it in all the places. Simply, you created an XML document of no use. Make sure that it is well formed. Well formed in the sense you are writing elements, XML elements or XML tags. Whenever you write XML tag, just like HTML, there is an opening. When there is an opening, there should be a closing. Okay, make sure that there should be opening as well as closing tag, and there should not be any overlaps. Okay, and again, attributes should be specified within quotation marks. Some rules which are to be followed to get a well-formed XML document. And then if you see the second point, see here it is given like this. There is a document type declaration. There's nothing but it is definition. It is definition about an XML document. We will define how an XML, we can define how an XML document should be by using DTD as well as XML schema. There is one more concept called XML schema. Those two are used to define the XML document. Based upon the definition, the user or you has to create the XML document. And you can see, just like a well-formed XML document, there will be valid XML documents also. Valid in the sense, if the XML document is following all the rules specified in the DTD, then it is a valid XML document. Okay, that's it. Apart from that, nothing is there. Okay, first of all, in order to get a valid XML document, first it should be well formed. Then it has to follow DTD. Then only we can tell it is valid XML document. Generally, this well formed and valid, they may ask in 2 marks question or 1 mark question. Okay. Then okay, we are talking about well formed XML documents. Well formed XML documents, and in that, if you look at all the rules, first rule is there should be one element as root, only one root. That's it. As we have seen the tree diagram. Okay, there will be one node. From here onwards, remaining nodes will come. Okay, now. So there should be only one tag. There should be only one tag as the first tag. Otherwise, the first node. Okay. So that's what the first point. And second point, attribute values should be in quotation marks. Okay, and opening and closing. Okay, when there is no content within that tag, under the tag, then you can write the tag like this. Okay, so you open that, instantly you closed it without any content within it. You can write like this also. Okay, and then everything, those tags should be nested properly. Sometimes there will be nesting, parent and children. So you should not close the parent when a child is not yet closed. Okay, so you have to nest the tags or nodes properly. Okay, and then there will be some markup characters. There's nothing but in XML document we will be using some special characters to represent, for suppose node. In order to represent node, we have to write first less than, some tag name, and then greater than. Okay, so this cannot be used in the document text like that. Some other things, so this will come in the document type definition. So those things cannot be used as a document text. And for suppose when you take XML file, the content of the XML file should follow as per DTD, Okay, so this is about well-formed XML document, and these things we can skip. And then valid XML document. What it is, first it should be well-formed, and main thing in valid, along with the well-formed, it has to follow DTD. What is DTD? Document type declaration. It is used to define. Otherwise, it is used to specify the rules that how to create an XML document. So if the XML document is following the rules specified in DTD, then it is valid. Otherwise, it is not valid. Okay, and we have XML parsers. So I think this is not in this document. No need to go through XML parsers. We will look at XML parsers like SACS as well as DOM in some other document. So we can skip that one. Okay, and now XML. Generally, we see XML document with extension some name dot XML. Okay, that is XML document, and then we see DTDs. That is nothing but document type definitions. Over here, we will be defining the rules that are to be followed in order to create an XML document. Okay, if you read these sentences, you get the same point. Okay, then style sheet is nothing but we are storing the data in the form of XML document, and sometimes we will retrieve that data, and we will be using that data. Sometimes we have to display the data. When you want to display that data, then you can use some styles. Okay, so you can use CSS cascading style sheet concept. Otherwise, you can use one more concept called extensible style sheet language. Okay, that is also be discussed in this lecture. Okay, it is present in this document itself. Okay, so those are the important things. So generally we see in XML, there will be an XML document, there will be a DTD as well as some style sheets. Okay, when you now we have to concentrate upon how an XML document will be, what and all things will be there in an XML document. Okay, and now as I said, there will be a tree structure. When you consider a tree structure, there will be element nodes. Okay, and within that there will be some control nodes as well as some data nodes. Okay, when you see control nodes, there will be document nodes, processing instruction nodes, comment nodes. Just like in HTML or in some markup languages, we write comments. Otherwise, in C language, we write comment by using slash star. But here we will not use slash star. We will not use that one. But here, what we will do is we will use a separate representation. Processing instruction nodes, that is nothing but less than question mark. But nothing but it will give some instruction for processing purpose. Okay. So and the actual document nodes means what? There is one node with the name document. There is one node with name document. So it will tell about DTD. It will tell about DTD, which DTD we are going to use. Okay, and element nodes as well as data nodes. These are the nodes generally we see in most of the XML documents. Now, when you look at the definition of element nodes, okay, there will be a tag name, there will be an attribute name, and equals to double quotes. Within double quotes, we will be writing the attribute value. You can take not only one attribute, you can take how many attributes you want for suppose n attributes. Okay, you open the tag and you close the tag, and in the middle we will be writing the data, or we can write some other component also, some other node also. This is one node. Okay, for that child node will be between opening and closing of that particular node. Okay, in the middle of opening and closing of one node, there can be data or the child nodes, children. See, children. Okay, so now ELD type is nothing but element type. That is what the tag. Okay, there will be attribute and value pair. Okay, attribute is equals to its value. Okay, so it is a pair. Okay, it is a set. So for attribute AI, the small AI, the value is capital AI, for suppose. And children, see, there can be any number of children, for suppose m children. Okay, otherwise you can directly write the data. Okay, now when you okay, I think this you can understand, nothing is there. Okay, now document nodes. So we will be using a special nodes here. That's what Doctype. Okay, and we will be specifying the root node, and we will be specifying the URL of the DTD or whatever it is. Then we will write the remaining things. So a document node has a type but no attributes. It has see it is different with the normal element nodes. Okay, so there will be an optional URL. If you want to write URL, they write the URL. Otherwise, you can skip it. Okay, it specifies the data model. URL specifies the data model for suppose DTD. So this XML document is following some rules which are specified in one DDD file. That DDD file related path it is location. Okay, and otherwise the name of that particular DDD file. Okay, and okay, remaining things you can skip. No, not an issue. Okay, so if you look at example, then we can understand. Okay, let us look at this, then we can go for other things. Okay, document type declaration. Okay, DTD. See here, we are talking about it is document type declaration. Okay, we are using Doctype node with exclamation mark before that, and we will be writing the name of the root node bibliography. We have seen that example earlier. And system in the sense the where that particular file is located, so that is located in the local computer. To mention that one, we are writing system. Yeah, if you write public, that DDD is available public, that is what the thing. Okay, so and then the name of the file. Then see, this node we will write in .xml file, and here in the .xml file at the starting we will write this doc type. Over there we are specifying how to create this XML document. Those rules are specified in this file. So that file extension is .ddd. Okay, so .ddd is an separate file. It gives the information about how an XML document should be, how your XML document should be created. Okay, so those are the things about the doc type. Okay, we have seen document node, we have seen element node, document node, and then processing node. Processing node, that is what we have seen at the starting of every XML file. So we'll write less than question mark and the processing instruction. Okay. Okay. So there are no children for this processing node. This is the only standalone node, or we can call that one as a leaf node. You can skip this, no problem. Okay, just remember a processing instruction node will be like this. Okay, so now if you look at example, then we can understand all the points. So you can write all the times you will be writing like this XML and the version. Okay, this is mandatory for everything. Okay, sometimes we'll be writing standalone, saying that declares that external files are required. Sometimes we will be writing like this in processing instruction node only. Instead of writing question mark and XML, we will be writing question mark XML hyphen style sheet. That's nothing but we are telling which style sheet should be applied, which style should be applied for this XML document whenever you want to see the XML document. I don't want to see the XML document like an XML file. I want to see the XML document in a table format, otherwise in HTML format, otherwise in some other format. Okay, so to specify how that particular XML document should be displayed to the user, we can use a style sheet. And again, just like DTD, we have to define how the XML document should be displayed. Okay, and it will be described or defined in a separate file like DTD, and that file extension is .xsl. Now in this, for suppose we are creating an XML file, within that XML file we are using a style sheet, and that style sheet related styles and all are present in separate file. That file name is mysty.xsl. XSL is the extension for the style sheet, and we are specifying what is that particular type of that file. Okay, what is that? What it consists? It is nothing but an text, and it is for XSL. Okay, and finally comment notes. Comment notes will be writing less than exclamation hyphen and write whatever you want as a comment, and then again the end hyphen greater than. That is what comment notes. So we have seen element node, we have seen doc type declaration, document node, doc type node, Then we have seen processing instruction node. Processing instruction node is used for that is the first node. Generally, we write for every XML document. Along with that, sometimes we may use a style sheet for our XML in order to display our XML data in one style in the format what we want. For that, we create another file with extension .xsl. That XSL has to be used to display this XML. So in order to specify that, we will write one more processing instruction node, and afterwards we have seen a comment node. Okay, then data nodes. Data nodes are nothing but simply one tag, so in the middle some data, and close the tag. Okay, that is what data node. So all those are explained over here, are used over here. So what is the first one? This is processing instruction node. What is the second one? This is Doctype node or document type declaration. So here bibliography. What is bibliography? It is nothing but the root node. And what is system? We are saying it is in the local computer, local system. What is mybib.ddd? It is the name of another file in which the rules about how this XML document should be. Okay, and what is this? This is the comment. This is the comment node. This is the comment node. Okay, and our XML document process. In most of the small XML files or XML documents, we will not see this too. Simply we'll write the first line and then the root node, child node, its subchain node, like that we will go. Okay, so these two are if you create an XML document in a standard way or in real time, then we have to use this two. Without these two also, we can create an XML document, no problem. But the first one is mandatory. Okay, now document type definitions. Previously, we have seen document type declaration. Now this is document type definition. Here we will define how an XML document should be created. So grammar, for suppose. Okay, and that's it. No need to worry about. So these things are okay. Now, if you see one example, see this is the content of DTD. Okay, so we are defining how an XML document should be. For suppose we are writing one node here like this, less than exclamation element. Okay, element is predefined. This is a predefined node. Okay, this is used to create. Otherwise, this is used to define an XML element node. Okay, so the definition is like this. There should be an element in the XML document, and that element name should be bibliography, and for that there is a child. That is the child node name is book. Okay, bibliography is the root node. For the child node is book. Immediate child is book, and there can be one or more book nodes. There can be one or more book nodes under bibliography node. Okay, and then we are going for attribute list for the bibliography. Okay, so there can be title as attribute, and it is a normal data. Okay, and bibliography. Okay, and then see, this is about bibliography node. For that node, there is a child node. What is that child node? So another element. So if you write another element, that's nothing but we are telling there should be another node which is we wrote this element under, otherwise as a child for this element. So book is child for bibliography. So whenever you are writing an XML document, okay, you create an bibliography node, and within that child node should be book node. Okay, for book node, children are title, author, publisher, year, and ISBN. Now title, only one node should be there for one book, and publisher, year, ISBN also only one node. But when we come to author, there can be multiple nodes. That is what plus. Okay, and then for this book node, there are attributes. Okay, for suppose type is one attribute. Okay, for type the values are technical, biography, fiction, and it is required. Means what? That type is mandatory, and there is one more attribute, pages. It is a normal data. It is implied. If you want, take it. Otherwise, no need. Okay, and then so first node is bibliography, and for that child node is book, and for that book child node is child node are other children are title, author, publisher, year, and ISBN. So we have to define an element node for all these children. So that is what happening here. So element title is child for element book. Element author is a child for element book. Similarly, element publisher is child node for book, because for this element book, all these are in this DTD. These elements are within this particular element. For suppose if you look at this element, this is closed. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, fine. So now when you look at author, for that author, there are again children, first name, initial, and last name. You can skip initial, no problem. And for initial, because why I'm telling skip means, see, if you write star, it is a 0 or many. Star represents 0 or many. Means what? Nothing also. I mean, if you are not giving initial, also no problem. Okay, but first name you have to give it only once. Last name you have to give only once. Initial 0 or many times you can give. Okay, so what is first name? It is again some PC data. Initial, that is nothing but data types. That's it. Data types in XML. C data, PC data are the data types we use in XML document. And then we have year, ISBN, and all those things. Okay, so that is about DTD, and this is the explanation about the DTD. For suppose if you write only the name of that particular node, then exactly one occurrence. If you write question mark, 0 or 1. If you write plus, 1 or more, star, 0 or more. Okay, so that's what I have explained. The same thing is here. Okay, for here, okay, it is fine. Now PC data. What is PC data? Indicates that data should be parsed. Data can only contain legal characters and define entities. What is C data? Indicates that data should be ignored by the parser. There are parsers. So parser can ignore this C data, and it can contain any characters. Whereas PC data, it can contain only some legal characters. Required means mandatory. Implied means optional. Okay, and if you write type, means this is one attribute, and within brackets, if you write like this, that is nothing but either technical or biography or fiction should be used as attribute value for type, and that type is a mandatory. Okay, then if you look at example, okay, there are internal DTDs, internal entities, as well as external entities. Okay, here entity ISBN colon, it is nothing but it is an internal entity. So what is internal entity? It is used to create small pieces of data that are, so you do one thing, you can skip this. Okay, so we are going through the main points or important points in our XML document as well as DTD. Okay, for suppose main point, let us see here. If you want, you can skip, no problem. Here it is like this: when an entity is included, its name is preceded by ampersand and followed by a semicolon. Okay, so okay, we can skip this. Then we can apply cascading style sheets for our XML document, so that those styles can be applied for our XML document. When you are using a cascading style sheets, you have to use a processing instruction at the starting of the XML document. That is nothing but XML style sheet type is equals to text by CSS and name of the CSS file. Okay, example. See, this is our regular previously explained XML document only. We have seen only these things. the first two lines and the remaining lines, but not the third one. So now the third one is added here. So what happens when we see this content in the browser? It comes like this. It comes like this. Earlier, it was not like this. It is showing like an XML document itself within a browser. If you look in a browser, it was showing like an XML document. But here, right now, it is showing like a HTML document because we applied the style sheet. Okay. So for title, they have given this CSS styles. For ISBN, they applied. So wherever a title node comes, this style will be applied. Wherever ISBN node comes, this particular style will be applied. Like that it is. So we can apply CSS for XML document in order to view our XML document in the manner what we want, in the style what we want. Okay. Similar to CSS, there is extensible style sheet language, XSL. Okay, so in this is here it is a template. Template in the sense it will tell how that XML document has to be converted. Otherwise, how the XML document should be viewed. Okay, so like a template, we will use this one. Okay, so for suppose we will give the style for one node, and whenever that node comes, this style should be applied. Like that, a template we will generate here. Okay, and just like XML style sheet, as we have seen in the last slide, here also we have XML style sheet. But here, if you observe, it is text by XSL. In the previous slide, when you look at previous example, here it is text by CSS because it is CSS file. It is CSS file. Okay. Similarly, when we come to this one, okay, here it is type is equals to text by XSL, and the file name is .xsl. Okay, you have to make a note of these 2 points. Okay, and now generally we have to, for suppose if you want to view your XML document in the form of a web page or a HTML program, so you have to create a HTML program like this. Okay, you have to write TR, you have to write TD, and within TD you have to put title, author, publisher, year, and ISBN. Okay, for suppose you want this one, you want in this order you want. For suppose I want to create a table. Within the table, I take one row. In that, I take columns 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns per row. So here we are seeing only one row, but in XSLT, we will be using this one as a template. And whenever book node occurs in XML file, this particular TR will be generated. With TD will be generated. And in the middle of TD, we will put the content of the XML document. For suppose the content within a title tag should be placed within first TD. The content within other tag should be placed in another TD. Like that we want. So we create a template like this, and actual XSL file will be like this. Okay, we are creating an XSL file, XSL style sheet. We are creating. This is the content of the file with extension .xsl. This is used to view another the XML document. This is not the XML document. This is an XSL document. This XSL document is used to display an XML document in the manner what you want within the web browser. For suppose when we look at XML document earlier, it was showing as it is XML document. But after applying this particular XSL to XML document, then the XML document will be visible like this, like a table will be generated over here. Okay, so what we are doing here, we are generating a template. So there are predefined tags in XSL. Okay, XSL style sheet is the existing predefined tag here, and we have to write the namespace of that particular XSL. This one we have to write for whenever you define a style sheet for XML document. And after that, you have to use one more predefined tag There is nothing but XSL colon template. There's nothing but we are generating a template here. Okay, now match. Match means here we are writing slash. Slash means root node. Whenever root node occurs, you have to write HTML. Means what? The output of this program is whatever you write within the template. So it will generate a HTML program. You know, when you are executing an XML document, if the XML document is using this style sheet, then an HTML page will be, HTML code will be generated for that XML document to display. And in that there is body. And for that body, background color is light yellow. So when you look at the example, the background color is light yellow. Okay. And then I need one heading. So we are writing H1. So here you can see the heading here. So bibliography for say CMT 602C. There's nothing but it is coming in bold and thick because we applied H1 for that. Okay. And what is the content of H1? The content of H1 is obtained from XML document. Okay. How we are getting from XML document? By writing one more XSL tag. There's nothing but XSL colon value of one tag. What is that one tag? That is bibliography. Bibliography slash @name. Okay. So this particular text will come within H1. Okay. And then a table tag will be created, and within the table tag this XSL for each, what it will do, it will execute a loop over here. So whenever a new node comes, suppose we are selecting one node, here we are selecting one node, bibliography. Here we are selecting another node, that's nothing but bibliography is the root node, in that child node is book. So whenever book comes, so get that one and create one row in the table. Create one row in the table. So tr will create the row. Within that, the td will create the column. Now in the column, what should be the data? In the column, what should be the data? It is the data from a tag in the XML document. So what is that? For suppose we are selecting in the attribute of XSL value of, see, we are using XSL value of here. We are using XSL value of over here. See, it is a predefined tag in XSL. There is nothing but it is used to obtain a data or value from an XML document. So we have to specify the path for that particular XML document related node. Okay. So whenever book comes, we are getting the title of the book, and then we are writing another td. In that, again we are writing another for each, because for author, again there are children. So we have to get children for author. So there can be n number of authors. Sometimes there can be one author, otherwise 2 authors, 3 authors. There can be n number of authors. That's why we are writing for each. And for each author, this particular XSL for each will be executed, and whenever it is executed, it will select value from first name, it will select value from last name, and those values will be kept within the TD. Okay. So similarly, we are getting the values for publisher, we are getting the values for year, and we are placing in TD. So see here in this template, we wrote only one tr, but while generating this kind of output from an XML document, that tr will be executed. For suppose if how many books are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. For suppose if there are 4 books, so this tr, this XSL for each will be executed 4 times. For all the 4 times, tr will be created, and for all the data within that each book, all these TDs will be created like that. So it is used as a template. Okay. So by using that template, when we execute an XML document, that XML document output will be according to the style what we have mentioned in the template. Okay. So that is about XSL. So this is information about that XSL, what I have explained. So first you have to write, when you are creating, you have to mention it is an XSL style sheet. by writing this tag afterwards. Whenever root node comes, we have to look for root node. Whenever root node comes, then the template style should be applied, like that we have to mention. And then for every node, for suppose for every book node, there are, see, I am expecting more number of books under bibliography. So if there is possibility of more number of book nodes under the root node, more number of nodes, if the node is repetitive, if the node is repetitive, means what? First book, second book, third book, fourth book, like that. Book, we will be writing more number of books. Then we have to write for each for that. If there is only one node and that value, if you want to get, then simply you write the XSL value of. Okay, that is what. And another one is, if you want to get the name of the attribute, then we will be writing @ name of that particular attribute. Okay, so those are the points explained here. There is nothing but explanation. So this is the output. This is the output. See, if you execute XML file, it will show like this. It is showing in the form of HTML because we are using XSL, and that XSL will take the XML document and its nodes, and it will display the XML document in the style what you have defined within the XSL. Okay, so those are the concepts in this document. Okay, for now I'm ending this. Okay, so in the next video I will explain a few other documents which I kept in my blog.